And now, Michigan Reimagined with Chris Buck.
So as many of you know, I'm a firm believer that a robust art scene is critical for making a region vibrant. Michigan's long been a hotspot for the arts, and the talent seems to be gathering momentum. And here to discuss a new faction of the arts are a pair of the Four Aces. We've got Sarah Sanders and Autumn Hopkins, and the owner and director of Opportunity Arts, Mike Marriott. Welcome, Sarah, Autumn, and Mike.
Thanks for having us on, Chris.
Thank you.
We really appreciate you all being here. So the Four Aces, I'm thrilled. I watched all the social media posts and all the video content that you put out there, and I said, I need to get them on the show and kind of tell that story, although the video does a nice job of doing that too. But people will find this medium a little bit different too. So get to break it down and hear what's going on. So Mike, you unveiled the Four Aces. In a nutshell, what are the Four Aces?
So, in entertainment, you've seen super groups form before, right? Like Traveling Wilburys or the Highwaymen or, the Rat Pack. And what this was is it was four friends from Lansing, Michigan, who are all individual visual artists. They're all creative entrepreneurs. They have their own LLCs. And they just started working together and collaborating on some stuff and hanging out. And then they formed this group, the Four Aces, through Opportunity Arts. And they're just producing and creating art, and that's kind of how it all started. And it's kind of morphed from there. And so then we did the publicity on it, and here they are.
So you throw this brand on top of four individual artists. So how is their art going to be kind of delivered to the world? Are they doing shows together? Are they traveling together as a unit, or is it just kind of a band that'll?
Well, it's kind of
the same places.
It's very rare when you play cards that you get all four aces at once.
Right.
And so sometimes they'll partner together where it'll be the two of them, or you'll see one of them, as part of their brand. And then a lot of times when the four of them come together to do something, that's must see. So that's kind of how they set that up, and it was a great way to brand, and it's the first time in visual arts that's been branded like this.
Right on. All right, so I want to pivot over to the Ace of Spades, if I may. So we've got Sarah, and you are the owner and operator of Contrasted Content. So
yes.
Tell us a little bit about your unique artwork. I'm fascinated by this.
Thank you so much. So I had started my brand in 2020, and basically my brand, again, Contrasted Content, it's a way of kind of expressing myself as a person. It's my platform for all my upcoming projects, events that I'm doing. Basically, I'm a body painter. That's one of my main mediums that I've been expressing with recently. But I do a lot of other things. I've worked in photography. I do a lot of fine art that I do sell at events and things like that. Recently, I've actually been going back to the body painting. I'm doing some projects. In May of this year, I did the Embodiment Project, where I did a body paint on either me or somebody else for every day of the whole month.
Wow.
And then branching off of that, I started to go and do the Embody Your Business. So that's where you can go through, you can have your logo or something related to your brand altogether painted on you, the owner of the company, that you can then go through, have a photo placed in your establishment, or you could have that for events where you're walking around. It's a great way of marketing. It's getting art out there. It's really fun.
So I need to cut to the chase here for a second. So give us your social handles or your website or both. How can people see what we're talking about here? Because I want to dive into this a little bit more.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So on Facebook, it's just Contrasted Content. My website is www.contrastedcontent.com. My Instagram handle is at contrasted_content. TikTok, same thing. So yeah.
Right. So Contrasted Content. If you're listening right now, or just write that down and look at it later on, but you have to see what we're talking about here. Okay, you talk about body painting. But this is if I heard body painting, someone mentioned that as they were walking by me at a restaurant, I'd be like, body painting, I don't really get it. It seems kind of weird. You look at this body painting and it's something unlike anything I've ever seen. And then I walked around a couple of the downtown events, and I've seen people that you've painted live in addition to the photographs on your social and your website. And it's unbelievable. So how the heck do you get started in something like that and then try to turn this into a business?
Well, actually, it's funny how I got started into body painting. I have a lot of creative friends, and one of my friends, she was a model, and she had introduced me to a photographer because she'd kind of been like, oh, you'd be really good at this thing. And so I was like, okay, I can try it. And I go and I meet him. He's phenomenal, great friend of mine. His name is David Annis. Never forget him. I'm going to be seeing him hopefully soon here. But I met up with him, and we were kind of talking, and he does a lot of artistic photography, beautiful, colorful work, a lot of like light work that he does. Anyway, and so we started working, and I was like, you know what, I'm not really into modeling, but I like art. And he's like, well, you should try body painting. And I'm like, okay. I've seen, Skin Wars and stuff like that. And I was like, I'll go ahead and take a shot. I loved it. I did it. I actually painted an old friend of mine from high school. And it was such a therapeutic and like intimate way to like get to know somebody. And like we were making art, and like when you have art on you, it's a lot different than having it on a canvas or putting art on somebody else. It's a very vulnerable thing. It's much more intimate. I think it's a better way of being able to express something to somebody. I feel like if I was to put an emotion on a canvas, people are going to be like, oh, okay, I get it. But then you put that same thing on you, and they're like, oh, I get it. It's different.
So where do you do that? I mean, do people get painted up and then go out on the town, or is it for a party, or is it for an art show, or do you do multiple people at a time? I mean, I was at the one event, I saw Kathleen Edgerly from Downtown Lansing Inc., and you did her whole chest and shoulders with not a Starry Night, but it was a dark blue. I can picture it clear as day because it was so striking, and I bumped into her socially, and it's like, you got a little something here. No, but she was like totally done up. So I could see that was like an expression. I mean, you did that, and then she was out and about, and she's a person that a lot of people know, and she was socializing with hundreds or thousands of people that night. Is that kind of the thing? You paint someone up for an event, and then they kind of mill around painted, and it starts conversations, or like, how does that work?
Well, yeah, that's definitely one aspect of it. But I don't want to say that there's really one per se reason to do it, because I mean, people will come to me and they'll want to be painted, and they won't want pictures, they won't want anything. For them, it's just a therapeutic thing. It's a way where you sit and you talk with them, and it's a way that like feeling the paint and everything, and that's completely one aspect of it. And then you have the other aspect of it where it's complete marketing for businesses, right, and like going around and being able to, like you said, have that conversation sparked. A lot of times I'll do work with models, or we'll do photo shoots. I mean, that's one aspect of it for events, and even for kids, doing it for kids at, certain events where it's just a fun thing. I mean, there's all sorts of ways to have your art be out there, and all sorts of reasons for it. So I think that like trying to condense that into a couple things, it kind of doesn't give it the justice, I guess. So I just kind of, there's so much you can do with it. And that's with every aspect of art too, Right. Being a creative in that business. So you have to be able to have these different avenues. If one thing doesn't work, okay, well, that's not the end of the game. Like, there's something else I can do. There's a different avenue I can go down. And then if that doesn't work, well, I got something else up my sleeve. Right on.
Well, it's fascinating, Sarah. So Sarah Sanders, the Ace of Spades, contrasted content. You have to go check it out because it's such a unique medium. I invite you to do so. Autumn.
Hi.
We got the Ace of Hearts, RLE Gallery. We got Autumn Hopkins. So tell us a little bit about your medium and how you got started. I hear your grandmother was a big influencer, the reason why you got started in this.
Yeah, so I've been making art since I can remember. It's been a big part of me. So it started when I was little. My mom and my dad would notice that I would be like drawing my emotions. Like, I didn't always say what I was feeling, but they could tell what I was feeling. And so from then on, they've always encouraged creativity through the household, no matter what was going on, no matter how messed up family dynamics can get, art was there. So my grandma passed away in 2016, and so that's kind of how I started the business, because whenever I would go to her house, she would turn off all electronics, all extra stuff that she wasn't a big fan of, play music, and we would create, like whether it was outside or on her table or whatever we were doing. And she was an amazing artist, very like never noticed she wanted to be an artist. That was her dream, but it wasn't a reality. It never was. And so the reason why I made the business was kind of like she got in her own way with life. And so this is kind of like my way of showing her, like, this is what could have been for you, and I'm doing it in the spirit of you. So I named the business after her. Her name is Oralie. But I named after the song, which she was named after, which is Orally.
Okay.
Plus, I didn't want to, like, copy her name, just to put it all out there, for business, just in respect of her, but enough where, it's her and everyone knows it's her. So I started that technically in 2016, 2017, but it didn't become an actual business legitimately until 2020. Yeah. So it's been really exciting, and I've been super scared to get to this point because I didn't know what I was doing, but I'm here and I'm super, super excited. But I make everything. I have ADHD, so like my brain is like in 1,000 places at once. So like I'll move on to different things, but I'll be doing everything at the same time. It's very conflicting. But so I do like digital design. Painting is my main medium because I go to MSU for that. And like recently I've been wanting to make rugs. Like there's 1,000 things I'm trying to do, but
I think some of the best art comes from scattered brains.
Exactly. You should
no
check
offense.
my house.
I mean, that's supposed to be a compliment. So that's fantastic. So Artley Gallery, where is it?
So it doesn't have like a place right now.
Okay.
It's just in Lansing, which is where I was born and raised. So I kind of just do it right out of my apartment, and I have right now a current room. I finally have my own art room, which is very exciting because it's usually my living room or my dining room. So I currently have it established there. I have all my mess there instead of throughout the rest of the house. And so yeah, it's definitely exciting because I'm finally like feeling, established and getting where I want to be. So
right. So where can people go to see your art and hopefully buy your art, right? The whole point is to create and deliver, right?
Yeah. So I do a lot of vending events, but I try to stay social on social media or doing events like Artist Umbrella or Opportunity Arts events or whatever I can do that gets me around people so I can put my name out there and also people can see it. But I also do, like over the pandemic, I sold a lot of stuff like online or commission based. So I try to promote myself and put my name out there and try to show people what I do, especially in the local area, but I would like to spread myself farther and farther. So
got it. Well, I think we have to announce too, not announce, but to talk a little bit about some accolades you've received recently, if I'm not mistaken. So Ralph Hendrickson Memorial Award.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. What made you earn this distinction recently? And I want to hear more.
Yeah, so it's a award given by the MSU's Art History and Design College, which is the college I'm a part of.
Yeah.
And if it's given by the Hendrickson's family in memory of him because he was an art teacher. And it's given by the faculty, like they decide who they think is deemed successful in that year of study in the painting major. So it was a pretty big deal because I didn't feel like I was doing like the best. Like I was confident in what I was doing, but to get like recognized by the faculty that teaches me every day, that's been there for the 5.5 years that I've been at MSU, like it was refreshing and nice, like a confirmation that like you're doing good, like things are going great. So it was pretty awesome to receive that.
I can imagine it's hard to, when you're an artist, like I know what I'm talking about, but I would imagine that when you're an artist, you're making yourself really vulnerable, right? You're taking your thoughts and your passions and your love and everything, and you're putting out there in whatever medium that you have, and then you're showing it to the world. And at least when you start, it must be very kind of exposing to say, here's my stuff.
Yeah.
It means a lot to me, and boy, I hope it means something to you. So hopefully the affirmation of this award, if you had any kind of pent up kind of thoughts about that, about being, getting that affirmation about, people's belief in your abilities, I think that really you should be really proud of that. I think that's a really cool thing to get awarded, especially by the school.
Yeah, and so my current senior show that I just had that I'm going to try to do at the auditorium with Opportunity Arts, but also maybe again and again, is about mental health and toxic and relationships, especially with your family.
Okay.
And so I put kind of my family and my life all out there, and some people received it fine, some people didn't, and so that's the whole point. Is like those are my like experiences and my mind. So like if you don't like what you see, like it's just what you get. So like that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like so that's what the whole thing with art is like, is you put yourself out there, like you said, and be vulnerable, and it's just kind of like what you receive is is hopefully good by a lot, but it's
Right.
kind of like you don't really care at the same time because it's what gives you peace. So
Right on. Well,
Yeah.
more power to you. Good for
Thank
you.
you.
How can people find your stuff again? Remind me, social or website or whatever you got?
Yeah, so I mean, the name's Aurale Gallery, Aurale Gallery, and it's on like all social medias for the most part, and it's just flat out like that. So like on Instagram, it's
Yep.
Aurale
Aurale.
Gallery, TikTok, Facebook, all that
Right
fun
on.
stuff,
Okay.
and my website as well.
And so they can see what's available, and can they purchase straight from the site?
Yeah, so they can purchase straight from the site. I need to update it more and more as I go because there's always events I'm doing and things get sold there. So
Yep.
if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me as well. So
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you sharing your stuff. Autumn Hopkins,
you.
the Ace of Hearts, and Aurale Gallery. So, Mike, I know we've got a couple pair of aces that are not with us here today because of other engagements. Can you share with us briefly who the other two aces are?
So the ace of clubs is Kylie Collette, from Lansing, Michigan. And then the ace of diamonds is friend of the show, Mila Lynn.
Right. She's been on a couple times now.
Yep. And so those are the other two aces. So collectively, that's the 4 aces of visual arts.
Got it. We do have a couple of seconds. Tell me more about the clubs. We know Mila, and if Mila Lynn, you can find other episodes to hear her story a little bit more in depth. But for Colette,
So Kylie,
Colette, yeah.
Kylie Collette, I call her the natural. She kind of self-taught herself, and she's been creating stickers, murals, everything, and it was kind of cool to see her connect with these three too, and then like how they all work together and the different things that they're doing. So,
Well, that's fantastic.
Shooting Star Arts is Kylie's
Shooting
brand.
Star Arts.
Yep.
Fantastic. All right. So we had Sarah Sanders, Autumn Hopkins. Thank you so much for sharing your stories, sharing your art with the world. Please, listeners, go take a look at their sites and social and dive into the deep end of this because it's really special. And Mike, thanks for getting the aces put together
Absolutely.
and promoting their opportunities. And all the best to you. Thanks for joining me today.
thanks for having us.
you.
Thanks.